I'm sure many of you might have like stared at a pile of homework or something that you've wanted to do for weeks but keep putting off, and just thought to yourself, I wish I had the willpower to be able to just finish this right now. So today let's talk about how to build willpower. So willpower is like a muscle that can be strengthened through regular training. So it's not really something that you're born with or an innate ability. And it's just like how when you exercise, when you go to the gym, you build muscles. Consistently practicing self-discipline and focus can enhance your willpower and build on that as well. So like without training, willpower will easily weaken when faced with temptations and distractions. And so why do we need to strengthen our willpower? It's because when you strengthen willpower, it can help you eliminate bad habits and distractions, and it's easier to achieve your personal goals. So the first step in this is to understand your why. It's because purpose-driven goals will enhance willpower by linking effort to deeper reasons, and this is like a psychological anchor to keep you on track. And resilience and success comes from perseverance towards our long-term goals, and it helps to have a clear purpose. And one way to achieve this is to write down your goals and regularly revisit them, which strengthens your motivation and help resist distractions. So, like for example, for me, maybe like one of my goals is to like eventually become like a computer scientist when I grow up. Then this goal is like my purpose is to do that, so I can have it will keep like a psychological anchor and keep me going towards my path. So if I get distracted on my phone or anything, it can like I have the goal in my mind that allows me to go back to doing my homework and just like practice so that I can be on track for it. And yeah, a good way is just like to write down and regularly like refresh it in your mind so you're always aware of it. Um so the second thing is to break a goal into small wins. So breaking down objectives into smaller achievable steps rather than trying to tackle everything at once. And this is because small consistent wins triggers releases of dopamine, which is our brain's reward chemical, and this actually reinforces positive behaviors, so we're more likely to repeat them. And it creates like a forward push, which makes it easier to maintain progress. And yeah, basically set manageable goals. So for example, if you wanted to get like stronger, then instead of just saying, oh, I should go to the gym and practice, like go on the treadmill like for like 2 hours like after every single day, then that's like not very manageable because you're more likely to stop doing that after a few days. So something like 10 push-ups every morning, that's like something that anyone can do, and this can help you build momentum through small victories, and our brain will reward it and encourage continuation. So if you do 10 push-ups every single day, then eventually it builds momentum because your brain goes, oh, I can do this, and it's something that you can continue doing and build upon. So after you do like 10 push-ups one day, maybe you can like increase it after you've done it for like a month to like 15 days, or like 15 push-ups or like 20 push-ups. So the importance of dopamine. I mentioned before that dopamine was the brain's reward chemical, and it's actually a key neurotransmitter, and it drives motivation, cravings, and reward-seeking behaviors. So, like, a problem is modern activities, which are like social media or video games. They actually flood the brain with dopamine, which can potentially lead to desensitization, so that it won't affect you as much anymore. And this can make it harder to focus on less stimulating tasks, but like important tasks such as like homework. And one way to counter this is to do low stimulus activities, which is something like a dopamine detox. So, for example, like maybe every single day after dinner you can go on a walk, or like read a book, or do some journaling, which can reset your brain's dopamine response, and this can actually make you more sensitive to your brain's natural dopamine instead of the flood that's released by constantly scrolling or playing video games. So what are the strategies to build willpower? So there's a couple, and the first one is to reframe temptation as opportunity. So instead of viewing temptation as failure, basically view it as opportunities to practice, and yeah, they can to practice your self-control and mental toughness. So like if you're looking at your phone and you really want to check it and you have like a really big temptation to do it, instead of viewing it as a failure of yourself, or being, oh, I'm so bad, I can't even go like a day without like an hour looking at my phone, then view it as like an opportunity to practice your self-control and tell yourself that I shouldn't look at this. And it can use your brain's neuroplasticity to strengthen neural circuits related to self-discipline, and by consciously resisting the urge, like to not look at your phone, or even like procrastination. Like if you really want to procrastinate and you're like resisting the urge to do that, it can rewire your brain and use the temptation as a tool to enhance your willpower. The second one is use if-then planning. So it's like creating simple conditional statements to manage urges and distractions. So for example, if you want to look at your phone a lot, like similar example to what I said before, instead of looking at it, you can substitute it with reading or exercising instead, which is more beneficial towards you. And yeah, it can help conserve your willpower and foster habits. And yeah, and another way to do if-then planning is, for example, like you might have heard of the Pomodoro technique, where you like work for like 25 minutes and then can take a 5 minutes break, because it's a simple conditional statement, like if I work for 25 minutes then I can have 5 minutes break to do what I want. And this can help you like manage your time better, because you're not just saying, oh, I'll have to focus for like 1 hour completely, which is a lot harder to do than if you split it into small parts and you say, if I do 25 minutes then I can just have a rest. So the third one is to practice delayed gratification, and this helps build resilience. And also you might have heard of Brian Tracy, who's like a famous personal development person, and he also mentions how important it is to build self-discipline. So for example, it's by setting small challenges for yourself and resisting immediate cravings. For example, like if you want to eat some like chocolate or something unhealthy, or if you want to go into social media, by waiting 5 to 10 minutes so that your brain can actually think about whether this is beneficial towards you and what the consequences are. And this can strengthen impulse control and rewire the brain for long-term thinking. So I know there's lots of apps that you can like download. So I think I've seen it before, but if you like download it, it actually locks all your social media websites for like 10 seconds. So once you click on something like YouTube, it does a countdown from 10 seconds where you can actually, and when the screen is blank, you can think to yourself, do I really want to go on this app right now? Do I really have the time to do this? And will I end up doom scrolling for hours if I go into this app? And it gives you the mental like clarity to think for a second about whether this is the right choice. And then you can just like, if you realize that you have much more important things to be doing, that like piece of time is really important, where you can just swipe off. So the fourth one is to embrace discomfort to grow willpower. So growth often occurs when stepping outside of our comfort zone. And for example, something like taking cold showers, waking up earlier before your alarm, and trying new challenges, it can help your brain handle difficulties. So an example of this would be like, I used to be really scared to speak to people in public, so I made a challenge to myself. Whenever I went to like a new like event, a new club or something, I would try to speak to at least like 5 people every single time and have a full conversation with them and ask them how they were going. And by putting myself in a very uncomfortable position, it made it a lot easier for me to be able to talk to more people and start conversations and continue them as well. And the 5th one is to bounce back from setbacks. So willpower is about resilience rather than perfection. And instead of viewing setbacks as failures, view them as learning opportunities, and or like stepping stones to like reach your goal, instead of like viewing them as self-criticism, because it can actually drain willpower through negative cycles. And so like you might have heard of the book Pursuit of Happiness, and in that book the main character, like Chris Gardner, he actually went through like a divorce with his wife, and he had like basically no money, and he had to raise his son as well, and he had to constantly go through many setbacks before he eventually like found a job where he could actually support himself. So like they had to like sleep in the like train station's like bathroom for a while because they didn't have any money. But instead of bringing him down, that actually made him more resilient to work harder, and yeah, eventually he got to his goal. And so instead of like just giving up, analyze what went wrong and identify the cause of that. And this can encourage understanding, and it helps you like develop strategies to avoid similar issues in the future. And the last one is to take care of physical health, because like for example, having enough sleep and having a balanced nutrition and a regular exercise, it's actually the foundation for mental resilience and like goal achievement. Because without like being really healthy, like having like enough sleep, for example, you might not be able to have like the mental like toughness to be able to implement some of these steps. So yeah, in conclusion, like willpower isn't something that we're born with, and it's something you can actually train and get stronger. And one of the most important things to do is to understand why. So understand why you want to achieve your goal and what it is. And yeah, basically the strategies. So for example, delayed gratification, temptation as opportunity, using if-then planning, and yeah, I think one of the most important ones are probably like embracing discomfort to grow willpower. So like stepping out of your comfort zone, and also bouncing back from setbacks, and yeah, also like taking care of physical health. So I hope you learned something today. Bye.